Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from Breitbart, and we're going to have some videos here for the next few days that are clowning on the media, and I'm sure you guys have seen this one already, and go to my favorite political writer, John Nolte, here to talk about it. It says Scott Pelley, if you know him from 60 Minutes, says he's mocked for unhinged, self-important commencement speech, and you should go watch it because it's a dude that has just no self-awareness, and this is him, and he's a guy that has like a really good voice for TV, like you listen to him and you're just like, yeah, he sounds like an announcer type guy. And then you listen to what he said and you're just like, this dude's full of shit. So it says 60 Minutes anchor Scott Pelley is facing widespread ridicule for a commencement address last week that is being described as self-important and unhinged. So, and he wrote, this is what he said actually, not what he wrote, but he said, this morning our sacred rule of law is under attack. Journalism is under attack. Universities are under attack. Freedom of speech is under attack, and insidious fear is reaching throughout schools, our businesses, our homes, and into our private thoughts. Pelley told the freshly minted graduates at Wake Forest University. Now, before I scroll down and continue on, let's address these things. Journalism is under attack. No, it's not. You guys just happen to lie constantly about everything. Okay, and his program, 60 Minutes, remember, they're being sued by the Trump administration for the Kamala Harris video that they deceptively edited. So it's not under attack. It's just the fact that you guys can't tell the truth and you're being called out on it. That's not an under attack thing. That's just you guys can't seem to do your job. Universities are under attack because they're harboring a bunch of terrorist supporters. That's why. Okay, they're also under attack, if you will, I guess, just to use that term, because of DEI. They're essentially just letting in people that they're prioritizing race and sex and things that don't matter above merit, which nobody should be doing anywhere. So freedom of speech is under attack. No, it literally isn't. Okay, just because you're just upset that you just don't get to lie about everything without being caught. And insidious fear is reaching throughout schools, our businesses, our homes, and our private thoughts. So there's not like telepaths around there, Scott. That's a comic book thing. I've read enough comic books to know that that's not real life. Okay, and it's a fear that you guys are perpetuating. And again, it's because you can't tell the truth about things. You are making people fearful, you absolute maroon. So let's keep going with the article here because I have gone off on a tangent. It says, the fear to speak in America. If our government is, in Lincoln's phrase, of the people, by the people, for the people, then why are we afraid to speak? Ignorance works for power, Mr. Sunshine added. I'm going to stop there and address that. There's no fear to speak in America. Again, when you lie and you're being caught on it, that's when that happens. No one is afraid to speak. Okay, but we have a lot of people out there that have a lot of undue influence because they can't seem to tell the truth about anything. Not a difficult thing to figure out. Continuing on with this quote, it says, power can change the definition of the words we use to describe reality. This is an old playbook, my friends. There is nothing new in this. Geez, he really is self-important. Let's keep going here. I just want to see if Mr. Nolte here says something about that, and I'm scanning really quick there. It doesn't, but his side is the one that keeps changing the way we use words. Using fascism, authoritarianism, Nazi, stuff like this. And again, he's not smart enough to look in the mirror and say, hey, maybe it's us. Maybe we're the problem. Let's keep going here. It says, the New York Post reports that the speech was met with scattered applause and ridiculed on social media by those baffled by Pelley's dramatic gestures and dread-filled rhetoric during the celebratory event. It says, the Post quotes ex-users describing the event this way. Scott Pelley raged at Trump in angry, unhinged commencement address at Wake Forest as he speaks openly and freely in America. Yeah, that's another thing, too, is like all these people that say fascism's coming to America, it's like, if it was, you'd be arrested. You'd already have been arrested, okay? Or there'd be people out there, like, beating you, you know, for saying what you're saying. Obviously, it's not under attack, even in the slightest way. So it's such a great point. Pelley claims people are afraid to speak up, then he speaks up. Right, exactly. He's doing the exact thing he says or he's going against the exact thing he says is going on. Says this self-important, sermonizing propagandist is what passes for a legacy media journalist, wrote another ex-user. So does Scott Pelley mention that 60 Minutes edited Kamala's campaign interview and they helped her answer questions? So one critic on X adding that until he does that, his credibility is zero. And that was what I mentioned earlier. And yes, that is... If you don't believe me, that is an actual thing. And again, that Trump has a lawsuit against them for that. So this is part of a big part of why the Democrat Party is losing young people. Young people are genetically skeptical of authority, as was I. And here comes a humorless and smug Scott Pelley, all puffed up with himself. lying to them about how America is entering its darkest days under President Trump. It says contrast that with Trump himself, who at least has a sense of humor, a sense of playfulness, optimism, and belief in the future. Yeah, you can't hear the things Scott Pelley says and then see something with Trump and go you can't just do that and go are these the same people? Who? Wait, what? Someone's off here. It says think of Caddyshack. The Pelley versus Trump contest for the hearts and minds of the young is Judge Elihu Small's Ted Knight. Heard the well, we're waiting. Love that's one of my favorite clips ever. Versus Al Cervic. I did not realize that Rodney Dangerfield's name in the movie, though at least his last name was Cervic. I just didn't know that. I haven't watched that movie in a while. Maybe I'll watch it tomorrow or something. It's late at night when I'm recording this. It says that's no contest, so I'm not accused of being partisan. There's a reason why former President Bill Clinton prevailed over his Republican political enemies, men who might have been morally right but came off as prudes and hypocrites. Plus, young people can feel how manipulative Pelley is. They instinctively understand that he is, 1, fabricating a dark world, so 2, people join his cult, his side of the political aisle. Yeah, that's worth saying too. It says, also, don't forget that these are people in their early 20s who suffered through the unnecessary and fascist COVID shutdowns and school closings, who had their proms, graduations, and homecomings canceled. They know who the villains are, and that's authority that accuses you of being evil and racist if you question them, as it's been for a long time now. This Pelley went at them in the exact wrong way. A sense of humor, some self-deprecation, and a little faith in the future go a long way with young people. Young people can smell a phony a mile away, and Scott Pelley is not only insufferable, he's one of the phoniest. So there you go, all the way back to the beginning here. And yeah, I mean, I think you could find his speech on YouTube if you go to it. And I recommend going to check it out. I haven't myself. I don't plan on it, but I mean, if you want to see the full context of it, go ahead and do that. But I'm sure that John Nolte got things right here, as he tends to do. So like I said at the beginning of the video, we got a few more videos over the next couple of days going over, I should say, clowning on the media. Not necessarily in this way a specific person, but more networks doing badly. And it's going to be fun. So let me know what you think about this particular video in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.